morning has broken, my windows are open, wanna feel.
Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Kristin, my husband is Ryan, and we have 10 kids. Happy New Year. It is about a week after the start of the new year. I like a new year. I don't know about you. Well, there have been seasons that I haven't, like when my dad passed away, all of a sudden that didn't feel like a good fresh thing in the new year, and felt like just make it through the year. So there have been times, but overall there's just a freshness and a newness that comes with the new year that feels good to me. I am somewhat of a goal person, but I'm also a realist, so I don't like to set a bunch of goals that I cannot keep. I do take the new year as a time to kind of have a fresh start, like I said, and think through some new things maybe to implement, but not really unrealistic goals. So I thought I would just share some of that with you today. Some of it's relating to our whole family, some of it's me personally, some of it's Ryan, and some of it is us together. So one thing I thought about doing, and I know this may sound a bit ridiculous, but it's just true with a lot of kids. I have a really hard time making sure all the girls brush their teeth. I will remind them, and they'll say, yeah, okay, I'll go do it. And then they won't. And, I'll realize that they didn't. And just following that many children into the restroom and make sure that they brush their teeth is quite a lot. So I thought, and they're a little bit older where they should be able to, overall brush their teeth themselves at this point. So I thought, okay, I've got to have something to really implement this. And so I had this idea to make a little checklist for all 8 girls and include things for all age ranges. The old teenagers obviously want to brush their teeth and don't have as much of a problem with that, though they would skip out on like the morning brush, I don't know, without this. But I talked to Ryan and we made a checklist for them. I kind of got definitely the teenagers' input and the little girls too on what they would want on this checklist, and we are going to give them $300 at the end of the year. I'll make them a new list each month and they can check off each thing each day, and they will get $300 cash each to do with whatever they want at the end of the year. Now, I am a grace and mercy person, so if they forget to brush their teeth twice a week and don't check it off, I said, just be honest. I'm not gonna not give you the reward because you forgot twice. The goal is to get you, for the most part, doing these things every day. If you're missing 5 times a week, that's different. Then we have to talk about that. So let me just show you this checklist that I created for the girls. So this is just January that I printed off and they can check it off. So I've got morning teeth brush, lunch fruits or veggies. Have had the hardest time getting them to consistently eat fruits and veggies. 30-minute exercise, mainly threw that in for the teenagers. They wanted that one. So teenage girls and women probably appreciate a little extra to get up and do something with our bodies. Fruits and veggies for dinner. Nighttime toothbrush, and then I added Bible reading just to have something. I told them it could be 1 verse, it could be 10. I don't really care. It could be a little devotional, whatever, but just something that would encourage them for the day. We have very thin children, so I am not trying to get them to exercise for thinness. Ryan and I are both little boned, and they all got our little bones. But more like the teenagers sitting around on their phones or reading all day, which reading is great, but to just encourage them to get out the bed or off the sofa and do a little something, I think is good, not only for physical health, but mental and emotional health. Definitely for me, my walks help me a lot mentally and emotionally. So the girls have been really enjoying that and doing it. The teenagers are like, thank you for the motivation. And the little girls are even into it and liking having that motivation. So that's been really good. That's what we did for the kids. Manning is off at college. He's here right now, but you know, he's got to do his own thing as an adult in life right now. And Rhythm is so self-motivated. I said, if you can think of any way I can challenge you, Rhythm, that you would like to earn some money, let me know. But he is just so disciplined, like more than me, and so self-motivated that he really doesn't need that extra oomph. Some things that I'm doing personally, I did this last year and I'm doing it again this year. I am doing the Bible recap. I love the Bible recap. I don't know why. It's just something about the way it's done. I really like it. It is made where you can go through the Bible in a year. And for me, I chose to do it in 2 years instead of 1 because I like to keep the goal I set. And I knew realistically there would be days that I would miss for this reason or that. And so I'm on my 2nd year. I'm about halfway through it from last year. And I just really, really like it. My favorite version of the Bible is NLT. I like a lot of versions, but yeah, and I'm using turquoise. Like I'll probably switch the color, but it's kind of a blue Bible, and I'm using turquoise pens and highlighters and just marking that up. And then maybe if I read through it in the future, I'll choose like purple or a different color, you know, according to the years I'm doing it. I thought that would be a neat thing to go back and see what stood out to me that time that year. And again, I read that more for encouragement. One thing I love about the Bible recap, and I literally highlight this, so I'll mark this up too, but I highlight this every single day. She ends with, "He's where the joy is." And that just makes me smile, makes me happy, and I highlight it every day. So that is kind of for an encouraging thing I do. Another challenge for myself. I don't love cooking. I've probably told you that. And I tend to stick to the same recipes. Trying new recipes is a little overwhelming to me. Cooking for a lot of kids, especially when kids have different tastes and stuff, and then I get complaints and things like that, is all the more demotivating since I already don't love to cook. So I am challenging myself. My main goal is to try 1 new recipe a week, but even if I get 2 a month, I will feel like score. And so I bought the stuff for the 2nd one this week. I'm making a taco casserole. I'll have to make 2 pans for our family size. And one thing I'm trying to do, I eat keto, so that's a little hard. I'm mainly, you know, cooking for the kids stuff I won't eat, or trying to sort of marry those 2 things together, because I think that my personal thought is that kids should have carbs when they're growing. And so I do want them to have some carbs. So I am going to make this taco casserole, and I bought chips for them, you know, to have with it. They can dip the taco casserole with it, or just have them on the side or what have you, but it's keto friendly for me. So I'm trying to do some more stuff like that they'll enjoy and that I will also enjoy. Another thing is my health. I kind of started November, well, something kick-started this. I had a situation the week before Thanksgiving where I really could not swallow good. And I've had this off and on for at least a couple of years. And I kept thinking, am I allergic to something else? Is this an anaphylactic reaction? Because I am allergic to fish, and I do get that anaphylactic reaction even if I ate like a French fry in the past that was cooked in fish grease. So I quit ever eating a French fry from a restaurant or anything, just in case. But anyway, I decided to go to like a walk-in ER because the kids were at music lessons. It was a good day, and my heart rate had shot up, and swallowing was very, very difficult. So they did a CT scan with contrast and found a thyroid nodule. Those are very common and often benign, but they sent me to an ENT. And I started telling the ENT a slew of crazy symptoms I've had. Hey, I've been hoarse for like 2 years. Haven't thought much of it. Only notice when I edit YouTube videos. Otherwise, I don't really notice that I'm hoarse. And I, have the swallowing issues sometimes and what have you. I am not super picky on doctors. I tend to like doctors overall, but I just really, really felt like he did not listen to any of my symptoms. It was like, kind of blew me off. He said, well, we're going to ultrasound this thing and then I'm going to probably biopsy it. And that's that. So I got the ultrasound, went back to him. He said, I'm not going to biopsy it. And he said, just come back in a year and we'll look at it again. And I was like, okay, well, what about like the neck pain and the hoarseness and this and that? And he was just kind of like, as far as I'm concerned, you're good. So I wasn't thrilled about that, but it was what it was. I went back to my primary care doctor. She was not thrilled about that. So she kind of wanted me to see another ENT, but decided to send me in for an MRI. I am also having another slew of symptoms that I really needed to get checked out, and I've just kind of put off because I've been like, is it just, perimenopause? Because a lot of it is hormonal related, and I just wasn't sure if it feels like I have a problem, but I wasn't sure if I actually had a problem that needed fixed, or if it was just something I had to live through until I hit actual menopause. I wasn't really sure. So it turns out I do have quite a bit of abnormal stuff going on that my doctors start to check out more, but she sent me for 2 MRIs, one for the brain to rule out a pituitary tumor, which did get ruled out because I do have symptoms that would be indicative of having something like that. And then another one of the neck, and on that, the thyroid nodule did light up, which it makes it a little more suspicious. So I am going to see a new ENT at the end of this month of January, and I don't know if she'll end up biopsying it or what she'll say, but I'm hopeful that she'll listen to all the symptoms and maybe be a little more proactive in helping me figure out what's going on. I also don't know what's related with all of my symptoms, so I'll take you along for this because if you have crazy symptoms, I don't know. So to give you sort of a rundown, too much information, probably most of you are women, I'm assuming, or kids who watch my show, but the week before and week of my period, I feel pretty bad every single month for months, over a year, and the other 2 weeks I feel pretty great. I'm just hit the start of the other 2 weeks. I'm feeling pretty good today. Yesterday, day before, I did not feel well. What happens is I get nerve pain shooting throughout my body. My vision goes extremely blurry, which if you've been following along with us, that first happened, my blurry vision on the trip. And I thought it was a slew of different things. Well, now it's continued to happen, and it is when my hormones change. It is a monthly thing. It is not consistently like I have blurry vision. It's pronounced worse at certain times. So that's another thing I have. The difficulty to swallow is way more pronounced that time of the month. So I think something's getting inflamed and nerves or something like that. We've ruled out certain things like Graves' disease, Hashimoto's, things that are thyroid related, or else I just don't have the markers yet if I do have something like that, but I definitely have symptoms similar to those things. Also have abnormal blood work. My white blood cell count has been low, like 3,200 to 3,600. I think 10,000 is normal, and mine's been in the 3,000 range for about a year. So I am going to see a hematologist at the end of this month as well to get that checked out. Got a referral from a doctor for that. And then I have high cortisol, high ATCH, I think, or ACTH, I can't remember, low DHEA. And so I am going to be seeing an endocrinologist mid-February regarding those issues. So I would love your prayers to figure out what is going on with me and have some sort of hope that maybe I could, find out what it is and find a solution and not have to go through this every month. So all that to say, new year, and I'm like, okay, I've got to handle the health stuff and not just hope for the best because this isn't working out. So I am trying to focus on that a little bit while raising 10 children and doing all the everyday things and get that handled. As far as Ryan, he has a sudden motivation to eat healthier. I'm not really sure where that came from, but that's sort of a goal of his, is to eat healthier. He really, he's super thin too. He doesn't need to eat healthier for weight loss or anything like that, but he loves sweets. He loves ice cream. He eats a lot more carbs and sugar and all those things, especially the sugar. And so I think he just doesn't feel great, and doesn't have the energy and is wanting to feel a little bit better. So that's a goal of his. Financially, we have been slowly crawling out of a hole that happened when we bought the RV park. Ryan had very little plumbing work. We bought the RV park empty, so we were paying this big old mortgage in the time when we didn't have any guests yet. And so Ryan was trying to have to make the plumbing money for our family budget, which is big with this many of us, and the RV park expenses. And so really, really tough times financially overall for the past 4 years, sort of coming out of this hole. We also went through a loan scam. Lost $60,000 trying to refinance the RV park, and went through a whole drama with that. Was hunted for a couple years for leaving an honest review. I was in, I think, 2 arbitrations and a lawsuit that, and am currently in an FBI investigation. So that has been a little crazy and not fun to deal with, but we have slowly been trying to dig out of the hole financially. We spent a lot of our savings just on our monthly budget in the RV park, to where we started feeling pretty, just in the depths there. So our goal is to get back to where we only have mortgages on our house and businesses, and no other debt. We started the first 10 years of our marriage. We were big Dave Ramsey fans, and we had no debt outside of that, but we currently do. And so we are still tracking to try to get that knocked out and get back to the basics. One last thing for the new year is that what happened the other day? Something happened with a pool or swimming. Oh, I know. We were at my mom's house, and she has a pool. She has it fenced, and we keep the fence closed, and the kids know not to go into there. But Bravely, our youngest, is not swimming yet. I know she's at the age where she really should be, 7, but it's really, really hard. That's been one of my hardest things with having this many kids, is getting them all swimming in a timely manner, because I just felt so overwhelmed to go to the pool with them all. I was so nervous about drownings that I just avoided going to pools instead of really getting them swimming. So we've got the oldest 8 swimming really well. River, our second to oldest, is pretty good swimmer, but only in the shallow end. I'm not confident that if she fell in, she would do well. And then Bravely has only been comfortable swimming with a floaty and just really has not wanted to try otherwise. Well, we were at my mom's, I think, Christmas, and for a few minutes I could not find Bravely, and the first place I went was the pool. It just really scared me. She was just in another bedroom in the house. She had just been quiet and playing quietly, and it just startled me though, and I thought, okay, it is my goal to get these girls swimming well this year. So today I'm taking River and Bravely to a trial swim lesson that's free. If we like it, then I'm going to put them in twice a week if possible, and just go endlessly until they're really good swimmers. So that's really a goal of mine by the summer, to be done with that phase of life, have all 10 kids swimming well, and feeling more confident about that. So that is the new year for us. Let me know what you're doing in the new year, if you have any goals or things that you're trying to accomplish or that you've thought of, or if you have any ideas for us. I'm always open to new challenges and new ideas. We hope that you are doing well, that you have had a happy new year, that there is some hope for you in your new year if it's been one of those hard years, if you've experienced loss or difficulty, or you're just in a bad place financially, in your marriage, or anything. Then I just pray that you have some hope resurrect this year for you, and just a newness, a new freshness for you as well. All right, well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming along.